I don't know if you can see it, but I'm soaking wet right now. Yesterday I was wearing t-shirts and shorts. It was sunny weather. This morning it was just raining everywhere, pouring. I'm soaking wet. I'm gonna dry up a bit and then we can start this video. So check out the intro first and I'll see you on the other side. And we're back and much drier than we were. I released the game a few weeks ago, Sir Questionnaire. I talked about it on the videos. You might have played it, you might have heard about it, you might have read about it. But when I release a game, the most asked question is, how are the sales? How is the game doing? How is the game? Is the game selling? Are you selling enough? How's the game doing? And I never have a clear answer to those questions. I should explain how game sales work. So let's talk about that today. We need the overhead camera for this. Hang on. Alright, we're all set up. So how do game sales work? This is really not so much about this game, but in general about all games. What happens when you release a game. So let's get started. So in basic what we have is a sales graph, which is like this. This is the amount of sales you have, like 0 if you don't sell anything, you have 0 sales. Then 5 sales. Let's put 500 and let's put 10,000 up there. So when you're developing on a new game and you already have a few games out, the graph is usually a little bit like this. Alright, now this whole part is where I'm developing new game. I have sales coming in from released games that are already out, 6-year-old games. They are still making sales, not a lot, maybe 1 copy a week, but combining like 10 or 12 of those games, you'll get some sales every day, almost every day. So in the end of the month it's still a little sum, like a few $100, but that's on games that already went through this whole sale process. So when you're developing a game, you want to talk about your game as much as possible. I usually start talking about my game as soon as I'm sure a prototype will turn into a game that I'm gonna release. I'll talk about my game on social media like Twitter. I'll talk about it on forums of different sites. So everywhere I can, I will be talking about my game. I will be showing it on Instagram. Everywhere you can, you should talk about your game. Because, and this is the main reason, you want eyeballs on your game during development. You want people to take notice of you and your game. If they take notice of you, they might also check out your other games that are already happening on this timeline right here. So you want as many eyeballs coming to you while you develop a new game. At some point your game is going to be released. This will be launch day. And pretty much like a spaceship, you want your launch day to go perfect. You want your spaceship to go as high as possible, which means that you want as many sales as possible during launch. So let's say this is launch day. Then you want this graph to suddenly go as high as possible on that day. For that you need the eyeballs. So that's what you've been working towards while developing. You've been creating eyeballs on your game, on you, hoping people take notice of your game and people who are interested in your game. So at this point, launch day, you will want all the eyeballs in the world on your own game. And how do you get all these eyeballs on your game? The usual channels, websites, specifically those that write about games, and if possible, those that write about your type of games. You will want to have social media go crazy about your game. So as many people talking about it, you will want to try and get influencers, which can be anything these days. YouTube stars. Hopefully they'll play your game and show it to their audience, which means by reaching that one YouTuber, you can reach all the eyeballs that he is reaching or she is reaching. You will also want Instagrammers, anything you can get. You want people to talk and notice your game. The more people are talking about your game, the more people will try your game and the higher this launch will be. Now this isn't the only way to get it. There are some things that work even better but are very hard to obtain, and those are features. But it's not just about these eyeballs at the launch day, it's basically the first couple of days. Because hopefully word will spread to other eyeballs and this graph won't just dive down. Let's say this is the next day, next day, next day. We want this line to be as high as possible for as long as possible. The decline starts basically after 2 or 3 days. This will go down, but you can still create spikes in sales. A simple way to create these spikes is discounts on your game. Give it a little discount, lower the price a bit just for 1 or 2 days and you will have a little spike. But there will also be a little unexpected spikes. So you can suddenly be featured in best platformers or most fun roguelikes. These spikes will happen more often if this sale was higher. So it's out of control, but awesome if it happens. Right, and as you can see, this is now lowering down back to where we started during the 5 or 10 sales a day, and we can get back to the start where we start developing a new game. The sales will trickle in from this game and the previous games, and by the time launch day happens you will want to do all this all over again. Now the fun part of this, and I can't mention this enough to other developers, this graph is just one store. Let's say this was the Apple Store. By releasing your games on multiple platforms and different stores, you can multiply this graph. So this graph will go for Android and it will be for Steam. There are extra markets you can release your game on. I can't mention all the markets, there are many out there. Not all markets are good, some are very hard to get into and you need contacts to get into those. Try to release the game on as many platforms and as many interesting markets as you can. Right now Steam is great, but Itch, I'm not sure what the icon for Itch is, sorry guys, but I love Itch. Itch.io is a great way to release your games. It's very supportive for all developers. Everybody can release games on there. Where Steam, well, you can release on Steam these days, but it will cost you money. You can release on Itch.io and it won't cost you money and still release a game there. And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this explanation of mine for how sales work, or at least in my vision how sales work. If you did, you know the drill by now. Give it a thumbs up to this video. Add comments below if you got any questions about this or any remarks or any other take on this, then please drop it down in the comments and I'll reply to them as soon as possible. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next video next week. Bye!